Yes guys, LDM bikes coming back at you. 2018, summer's almost here, and I thought I really want to take out the Africa Twin, so here we are. Honda Chiswick has let me take the bike out because ever since it came out I've really admired it, and I really wanted to see how I'd get on with it, if it's something that I would consider getting in the near future. I've been quite indecisive with riding lately. As a lot of you know, I love my sports bikes, but I really want to go on an adventure. I want to go touring, and I wanted a proper bike to do so. So we have considered getting the Africa Twin, and first off, it's weird, it's different. I mean, as you guys know, I ride sports bikes. This is smooth so far. The seating position is amazing. I mean, I sort of almost feel like I'm standing up to some degree, or basically sitting in a nice comfy armchair. This is really nice. The power curve is nice. It feels good. Now, as a lot of you know, I only ride sports bikes mainly, but I wanted to try something different, because I have a love for bikes in general, and I appreciate all bikes for what they are. And this has always been the workhorse, and it's always been a mighty fine workhorse that a lot of people have admired. It's either been this or the GS by BMW, but personally I prefer this one. Look wise, I prefer this one purely because I'm a bit of a Honda man really, and it just seemed like something I would really like to give a try, and I'm really glad that I have. I'm not a pro rider, so I'm not gonna say, oh, you know, sort of the suspension could be tweaked by a couple of mil to the left or whatever. I get on, I ride, I check general setup to make sure it suits me, and I just go. So there's two types of Africa Twins. We've got this one, and then we've got the Adventure Tourer. This is the standard one, and I wanted to see what the standard was like, what toys it comes with as standard without having to get a tuned up one. And I'm actually a bit disappointed with the toys that it comes with. It's pretty basic, so you haven't got things like cruise control. It doesn't come with heated grips. It doesn't come with a 12-volt power socket as standard. This one does have one, if you notice it's just down there, but that was an optional extra, as this is a second-hand bike. But it does come with ABS, as you would expect, because the nature of this bike is a tourer. It goes off-road. It's part of the CRF family, which, as you know, is a motocross bike. But this is a litre, although does not feel like a litre bike. It resembles the weight of my 600, admittedly, which I quite like. Now the throttle is really nice, and the power curve is also very nice. I believe these are about 90 bhp. I'm not too sure what the torque is, but I will find out and let you know. But the power curve is very nice, and it does feel very torquey as well. As you saw, I just took off, and that wasn't even at full power. Now it feels very slimline for what it is. I know the Adventures come with a bigger tank, This one has got more of a slimline tank, which suits me quite well, to be fair. So as you can see, the dial's pretty clear. It's almost like a night vision dial, but it works very well in the day. We've got the time indicator. Now it does have a traction control as standard, and there is 4 settings, which includes off completely, or at the minute as I have it, on the lowest setting. But there's a tab just here at the back of the left bar, and if you click it, you can see it's just changed, gone to full traction control, and then click it again, down to middle, down to lowest, and then in order to switch it off, just press and hold. Light comes on to say traction control is off completely. I mean, I'm riding in London, so it doesn't really matter to me whether it's on, off or low. Probably on would be preferable, given my settings. But the ABS button is just there. Give that a push, switch the ABS off. You only really need that when you are going off-road. So we'll leave that as it is at the minute. But the power curve is really nice, guys, and the seating position is really nice. When I first jumped on the Honda Fireblade SP1 last year, I immediately felt right at home with that bike. This bike is taken about 5 minutes or so to get used to. I feel a lot more used to it now. It feels like something I could live with on a long-term basis. Really does, especially if I was doing a lot of commuting, which potentially I may have to soon. This could possibly be my bike of choice. I would like a lot more gadgets on it. I'm very surprised that heated grips haven't come as a standard. Given the nature of the bike, you'd expect it to be suited for all weather conditions, including winter, but that is an optional extra that you should most definitely consider if getting a Africa Twin. I just wanted to touch base quickly on my camera. As you guys can know, if you watched any of my previous videos, you can actually hear me now, which is most definitely a massive benefit. I'm really gutted because I felt like I did some good reviews on my previous ones, but you couldn't quite hear me as well as I would like. So I do apologise about that, guys, but I have up my camera, which has its benefits and it has its down points. Benefits are you can actually hear me. Down points is the video quality is not as good as the GoPro. It is as simple as that. So I think what I'll start doing is I'll start filming with the GoPro, but I'll be using the drift for the audio and just combining the two, so we have better quality for you guys. As an amateur rider, especially of touring bikes, I would most definitely like to see how this compares to the GS. Some people may not put them in the same category. I do put them in the same category as an all-round good adventure touring bike and commuting bike in some extremes. The adventure, as I said, has a bigger tank, so if you're commuting, you'll probably get on a lot better with that. I think this would be more than adequate because it only has 90 bhp. You're not going to be hammering all the time, but when you do, there's plenty of power there for you. British Airways coming in. So far, so good. I'm really happy with it. As you can see, we've got the extra wind deflector, which seems to be doing a really good job. It's not at full extent. I'll change that when I get off the bike, give you guys a quick tour around the bike, let you see what it's like. But these bikes, they do come with an inner tube, so they're not tubeless tires, so you can't just get a puncture and groove fill. You do have to change the inner tube, which would be a bit of a pain if you do get a puncture, because as you know from one of my previous videos, I did get a puncture in my tyre. I thought my bike had been vandalized, but after really thinking about it, I probably was just very unlucky during that week, because my front indicator lens had come off and all sorts. I was just really gutted, and I thought it seemed too much to be a coincidence, but hey, that's just the way. So but yeah, you will have to change the whole inner tube on this bike, but the likelihood of you getting a puncture is probably quite slim, depending on the kind of riding that you do. If you're one of those to really go adventuring, then I'm pretty sure that you're quite experienced and will be quite susceptible to changing tyres if needs be on the go. I'm sure you'll have the tools to get go, or you'll be able to channel your bike to the nearest garage to really get going. But let's see what this bike's really saying, what it's got, and let's drop a gear and disappear. It's not too bad. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's crap. It's not like my CBR, because it's not meant to be like my CBR. You know, it's got the power there if you need it. If you need to overtake, it will more than happily do that job for you. It probably doesn't top out at any more than 115. The way it picks up, who knows? I haven't got it to that, but I'm sure that's probably what it would top out at, given it's only got 90 bhp. But it's smooth with it. Now the suspension is really good. I'm really quite pleased with it, to be fair. I was expecting it to be really choppy, quite up and down, but it's quite smooth. Really nice, comfortable ride, and it feels like if I was to hit some bumps, some real bumps, it would be able to soak them up really well. As with any bike, it's always good to get it tuned to your weight and your preference. I didn't really realise how good it would be until I got my bike tuned, suspension wise, and now it just, it's divine, superb. And this, I've just jumped on it and it feels like it's adequate enough to really give me what I need, and I'm really impressed with it. There's two seating positions. At the minute I've got mine at low. I mean, my height fluctuates and I say my height fluctuates between 5'9", 5'11", somewhere around that. Depends on what trainers I'm wearing on the day. So I've set mine to the lowest seat height, which is really adequate. I think it's just right for me personally. It's just what I need. And the higher seat, I would say, is more suited for someone of 6 foot and above, and it just really is the perfect height for me. I'm not feeling strenuous in any way. Back feels good, arms feel good, legs feel good, and I reckon I could probably hit about 200-300 miles quite easy without having to stop or feel that I need to in any way. This bike is really nice to ride. Now that I'm getting used to it, it's really more admiring. I've always admired the looks of it. I thought it's always stood out to me. Mainly the older Africa Twins. They were what really got me into these adventure bikes in the first place. And when the new one came out back in, I think 2015 or 16, I fell in love with it even more. I thought, yeah, this bike really knows how to please. And now that I've jumped on it, at first I was a little bit but now I quite like it. To be fair, I quite like it a lot. So I'm going to find somewhere to pull over and show you guys around the bike and take some nice shots for you to admire it from the same angles that I have. Right guys, yeah, so here we are. Honda Africa Twin, the CRF 1000L. Fortunate enough to get one with the Remus pipe on it, which has made a nice difference to it overall as well. But as I said, really impressed with the bike. Doesn't feel like 1000, feels more like a 600, really light, handles really well, suspension's great, brakes really good. ABS could be better. Overall probably give that maybe a 6-7 out of 10. Now the gearing is really nice, really smooth. I would expect it to be on such a new bike, and the controls are also great. As I said, doesn't come with a lot of bits and pieces that you'd expect it to as standard, like heated grips. We've got also the cruise control and the 12-volt socket. Doesn't come with those as standard, but you can get those as optional extras. This one does have the 12-volt socket on it. Now the kill switch is also the start switch. What I'll do, I'll start up the motor so you can get a feel for it. Once the aeroplane is clapped off, you'll really get a true idea of what it sounds like, especially with that Remus at the rear. And it just revs up really nicely. It revs to about just under 8,000 RPM. As I said, you've got the tube tyres, so if you do get a puncture, you will have to change it. You can't just green fill it. But overall, really nice bike. Really nice. So you've got the single front low beam. You've got the indicators flashing at us now. And we've got a decent tank on it, but the Adventure Tourer does come with a bigger tank. Overall, the suspension setup is really nice. As I mentioned earlier, I've got the seat on the lower setting, which you can see there is a slight gap here for a little bit, just to make it that little bit lower for anyone jumping on the bike. Got the integrated rear brake and rear light, which sits in quite nicely. It's not too exposed, so the bike can take a bit of a hammering, especially with the exhaust nicely covered by the rear pillion footrests. Switch it off a bit so you can hear me a bit better. But on this bike we've got the extended screen as well, which really does make a nice difference. Quite surprised by it, because I've not had a bike with a great extended screen. On my own bike I've got a double bubble which has raised it, but let's face it, it makes no difference unless you're really tucked in on a track. But overall, really impressed. If I had to rate the bike, probably give it a strong 8 out of 10. I could see that really improving if I had all of the extras, or at least a few added extras, in particular the heated grips as standard, but it doesn't come. Maybe they might improve that in a couple of other models to come. Really like the colour scheme on this one. It currently comes in 3 different colour schemes. We've got the white, blue, red. We've got the lighter red, can't remember what it's called, and then we've got a more burgundy red as well. Not a fan of the burgundy red myself. Preferably I'd probably go for this colour scheme or the lighter red one, which is the same as the new Fireblade red. But setup is really nice. As I said, we've got the centre stand, we've got the side stand as well. It is a 1 litre 90 bhp power plant, and
can't remember what the torque range is, but I will let you know and add that into the clip.
Yeah, some good brakes. Forgot to mention about the brakes. They are nice. I'm finding it a little strange with the putting my foot down when coming to a stop. It's just different, you know. You kind of expect to hit the floor quite quickly, and then your foot's still traveling, and yeah, oh yeah, I'm a lot higher up than I am on my sports bike, and I can, as I said earlier, with the lowest seating position, I can just get both feet flat on the ground, which is nice. So yeah, the seating position is really nice, and the brakes are really nice as well. I've not had to really slam on the brakes just yet to see what they're like, but I will give them a go and see how I get on with them, and we can really, yeah, they're good. They're good. Gears are nice and easy to find. Foot pegs, really nice position. Quite far forwards. I believe they're adjustable, but we will soon find out. This corners really well. Given the engine's semi-low centre of gravity, it's not too bad actually. Obviously the engine can't be too low for the purposes of the obstacles that may get in the way. But cornering speed and cornering agility and ability, very good, very good. Quite pleased with that. Sixth gear, 70 mile an hour, nice. We're sitting at about 4,000 RPM. Bike tops out at just under 8,000 RPM, and it feels nice and smooth. There's enough torque there to keep you going if you get into any trouble, which is it's always fun and games. So I'm in sixth gear. I'm doing 40, and I was expecting the bike to get a little bit choppy, but it didn't. It kept pulling through really nicely. Well done, Honda. I quite like it. What I really want to do is jump on the GS BMW. There's a few other bikes that I would like to get on as well, including the KTM. They got an adventure tourer I'd really like to get on, and the Triumph. I think it's the Triumph Tiger. Those are another two bikes that I would also like to get on, as well as the BMW. See how I get on with those. There's not too much feedback from the steering. Feels pretty smooth as well. Not too much vibration coming back from that. Quite like that as well. It's nice. I think it's been well thought about. I mean, it's been a long time in the making, and they did a great job with it. Just to let you know as well, the lights, they're not halogen, they are LED lights, so you shouldn't come unstuck with these. You should come unstuck with these at any time. They should last a good while, give you a lot of feedback. They seem really bright. Composite is really nice on it. So yeah, nice finish on that. So this bike, brand new. The standard I think is around £12,000. You can pick them up second hand for around £8,000. For £6,000 you can get the 1994 version. I know, right? £6,000. As soon as the new one came out, these just rocketed up in price. A lot of buyers taking advantage, a lot of sellers taking advantage of that good. And I don't blame them. Would I do the same? Probably take advantage of it. Why not? So when I got the bike, I had 2 bars of fuel. I still got 2 bars of fuel. I've been on it for about 45 minutes now, consistent, nice amount of power every now and again, and doesn't seem to be shifting. So I'll let you know what that's on when I finish for the day. Probably got about another half an hour on it, so we shall see what it is like on fuel. I was mainly wondering what my back would be like, and again, yeah, comfort. You know, I feel very supported in the lower back area, which is just giving me great comfort throughout the spine. Arms really comfortable. The handlebars are a good distance apart. They're not too squeezed, they're not too wide. I mean, I'm quite broad in the shoulder, and you know, I'm just slightly angled out, but it feels right. It does feel right, and that's what I'm most impressed with. Yeah, it feels good. It's a nice bike, nicely set up. I'm not going to change the seating position, so for the taller riders, I'm pretty confident that you would be good on the higher seating position. But I'm sure if you're thinking of getting one of these, you're probably going to take it out for a ride yourselves anyway, so you'll be able to check that out. Would I say it's a good competitor? If you're looking at getting something like the GS, because you want to do some good touring, this particular model, no. The Adventure Tourer one, yes. That comes with a lot of gadgets, and it's got the bigger tank as well as standard. So you will be a lot happier with your value for money. Now, obviously, it is more money, but it is worth the money. We'll find out how much worth the money it is when I jump on the GS and the KTM and the Triumph, and then I can give you a fair comparison as to the bikes themselves. But first hand, I feel completely at home on this now.